Amazing Facts Part 1. Babies' patterns are influenced by environmental factors such as blood supply, fetal movement, and the length of the umbilical cord during development in the mother's womb. Therefore, the fingerprints of identical twins cannot be identical. A cloud weighs around 1 million tons. A cloud typically has a volume of around 1 kilometer cube and a density of around 0.4% lower than the air surrounding it. This is how they are able to float. Earth's rotation is changing speed. It's actually slowing. This means that, on average, the length of a day increases by around 1.8 seconds per century. According to that 600 million years ago, a day lasted of 21 hours instead. Your brain is constantly eating itself. This process is called phagocytosis, where cells envelop and consume smaller cells or molecules to remove them from the system. Don't worry. Phagocytosis isn't harmful, but it acts as a primary defense mechanism in the immune system and helps preserve your gray matter. The universe's average color is called cosmic latte. In a 2002 study, astronomers found that the light coming from galaxies averaged into a beige color that's close to white. Animals can experience time differently from humans. To smaller animals, the world around them moves more slowly compared to humans. Salamanders and lizards, for example, experience time more slowly than cats and dogs. This is because the perception of time depends on how quickly the brain can process incoming information. Water might not be wet. This is because most scientists define wetness as a liquid's ability to maintain contact with a solid surface, meaning that water itself is not wet, but can make other objects wet. A chicken once lived for 18 months without a head. Mike, the headless chicken's incredible feat, was recorded back in the 1940s in the USA. He survived as his jugular vein, and most of his brainstem were left mostly intact, ensuring just enough brain function remained for survival. In the majority of cases, a headless chicken dies in a matter of minutes. A study in 2018 found that wearing a necktie can reduce the blood flow to your brain by up to 7.5%, which can make you feel dizzy, nauseous, and cause headaches. The world's oldest dog lived to 29.5 years old. While the median age a dog reaches tends to be about 15 years, one Australian cattle dog, Bluey, survived to the ripe old age of 29.5. Bluey lived from 1910 to 1939 and was euthanized. Our solar system has a wall. The heliopause, the region of space in which solar wind isn't hot enough to push back the wind of particles coming from distant stars, is often considered the boundary wall of the solar system and interstellar space. Chainsaws were first invented for childbirth. It was developed in Scotland in the late 18th century to help aid and speed up the process of symphysiotomy, widening the pubic cartilage, and removal of disease-laden bone during childbirth. It wasn't until the start of the 20th century that we started using chainsaws for wood chopping. Ants don't have lungs. They instead breathe through spiracles, 9 or 10 tiny openings, depending on the species along the side of their body. Each spiracle is connected to an ever-finer branching series of tubes called tracheae works as lungs. Do you know snails have teeth specifically, between 1,000 and 12,000 teeth? But don't imagine snails with ludicrous toothy grins. Those aren't like ours. The snail's file-like tongue is covered in microscopic teeth. The quietest place on Earth is Microsoft's anechoic chamber in Redmond, Washington, USA, at minus 20.6 decibels. The longest anyone can typically tolerate being in Earth's quietest place is around 45 minutes due to the extreme sensory deprivation and disorientation it causes. You can experience by yourself at Orfield Labs in Minneapolis, which is a public attraction. Bananas are radioactive. Due to being rich in potassium, every banana is actually slightly radioactive thanks to containing the natural isotope potassium-40. Interestingly, your body contains around 16 milligrams of potassium-40, meaning you're around 280 times more radioactive than a banana already. Hippos can't swim. Hippos really do have big bones, so big and dense, in fact, that they're barely buoyant at all. They don't swim, and instead perform a slow-motion gallop on the riverbed or on the seafloor. In fact, hippos can even sleep underwater, thanks to a built-in reflex that allows them to bob up, take a breath, and sink back down without waking. You can be heavily pregnant and not realize. Cryptic pregnancies aren't that uncommon. with 1 in 500 not recognized until at least halfway through and 1 in 2,500 not known until labor starts. Your nails grow faster in hot summer. This is probably due to increased blood supply to the fingertips. There's a planet mostly made from diamond. Called 55 Cancri. It's around twice the size of Earth and some 40 light-years away from us within the Cancer constellation. Animals can be allergic to humans. Animals can be allergic to our dead skin cells, dander. These allergic reactions can be just like ours too, including breathing difficulties and skin irritation. You don't like the sound of your own voice because of the bones in your head. This is partly because our bones are better at communicating low-frequency sounds, indicating that our own voice resonates deeper to us than it does to others. Us not liking our own voice psychologically is called voice confrontation. Infinite reflections do not occur when two mirrors are facing one another. A little portion of the light's energy is absorbed by mirrors. The reflections will get progressively darker until they are no longer visible. Have you ever felt that involuntary shiver run down your spine when you're scared, excited, or inspired? Those tiny bumps on your skin, known as goosebumps, are a universal human experience. But did you know that you're not alone in this phenomenon? From the majestic lions of the savannah to the adorable koalas of the Australian outback, all mammals experience goosebumps. The charge carried by a bolt of lightning is so intense that it has a temperature of 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun, which is around 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The longest anyone has held their breath underwater is over 24.5 minutes. The world record for breath holding underwater was achieved by Croatian Budimir Sobat on the 27th of March 2021, who held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. For such amazing facts, keep following Earth Chronicle